So give me 1 second, and that is recording. Excellent. Well, good morning again, everyone. It's a great turnout. We're going to the Maldives today, which I think is a little bit of paradise. This is the 4th Asian session that we've actually run in recent months. It's the second one specifically on the Maldives. The other 2 were focusing on Sri Lanka and the Maldives. Thank you for your support. Yesterday, some of you would have seen from Facebook, was Travel Gallery's 34th anniversary since we opened a retail shop, since we took the keys to the retail shop. I have to say, you know, it's hard to recognize this industry. I actually probably only really truly came into it about 10 years ago, but it's hard to recognize it since 1986. Some things don't change though, and that's the relationship which we have with our friends and suppliers and everybody else in the industry, whether it be suppliers, friends, and our clients. One thing is for sure though, the 3 people who we've got joining us today for this session, they don't remember 1986, so they're not old enough. So I think that just actually says that we are definitely some of the oldies in the travel industry. But it's great to be here today. We're joined by 3 of our, so I'm sorry I keep getting distracted here, but there's still people joining, so I'm just letting them in. We're joined by 3 of our really favorite hoteliers today to look at 4 properties: Gili Lankanfushi, Como, Maalifushi and Cocoa, and finally 6 Senses Laamu as well. 3 of those properties, and we say, why have we chosen those properties? We think they fit really very, very well together. What brings them together as properties for me is they're all very much barefoot, understated luxury in the 5-star space. I know from personal experience that wearing heels at Cocoa, well, when I say personal experience, that was Fazan and not me wearing the heels, isn't the best way of trying to get to the restaurant. You know, I don't know whether they've put a walkway in there.
Stop with that image now.
Oh, yes.
I definitely remember walking across the first night to the restaurant and having to walk across the beach to get there. You know, so these properties are not necessarily for your clients who are looking for uber luxury and who want to take their 30 kilos of luggage with them to be able to demonstrate, you know, their wide range of shoes. This is about barefoot luxury, and I think that's what, to my mind, is the essence of some of these properties. It becomes difficult to differentiate properties in the Maldives and the 5-star market as well. I mean, we've got the big international brands, and I struggle a little bit sometimes when you start telling people that they're going to a Hilton or they're going to a, you know, one of the brands that we associate as being a city or a business brand. But again, these 4 properties today have an individuality about them, which carries through without a big brand behind them. We've seen a very pleasant bounce back, and we've been working with some of you in the last few days on bookings, and actually securing rooms at the moment for December is absolutely crazy in the Maldives, particularly in the larger properties. And it's perhaps not a surprise that the 2- and 3-bedroom units in the hotels that we've been looking at have been selling out. More to come in, have been selling out. Having said that, we just had a discussion before we started this morning. Even where rooms are currently not available, we're finding that perhaps tomorrow or next week they are becoming available due to cancellations, due to release of allocations, etc. So I think one of the messages of that is don't give up on looking for different room types. And every property that we've got featured today has still got some availability over the festive season. Okay, so I'm going to just take you through a couple of charts before I hand over to Dom. And if you'll excuse me, we'll just get this on board. Could I just ask you at this point that if you want to stick yourself on mute, that would be appreciated. What we'll then do is have an opportunity if you want to ask some questions a little bit later, but it'll just make it a little bit easier. So barefoot luxury in the Maldives. The first thing I want to do is say, what is the ability to travel to the Indian Ocean at the moment? And some of you who've been on one of our webinars before will recognize this chart. It has been updated. And there's a couple of key things that I really want to pull out of this. The first is Mauritius is effectively closed till March. We're not looking for any inquiries prior to March. I think that is the first opportunity that you'll have, hopefully for Easter, to send people there, but we're still not quite sure about that one. We'll keep you up to date. Sri Lanka, despite the optimism that some people expressed to us last week when it was put onto the no self-isolation list, it was a great announcement from the UK government to be out of destination, but when the destination is closed to incoming tourists, it's pretty meaningless. So at the moment, Sri Lanka remains closed. There is talk about it opening for limited 14-day long stay beach stays in a limited number of properties from possibly mid-December, more likely early January. But I'll be honest, I think that's a limited opportunity. There'll be a PCR test on arrival, a PCR test after 5 days, possibly one after 10 days. And I think that is a very limited interest for this winter season. We think that Sri Lanka will be fully open for touring from summer 2021. So that is from kind of, June onwards. And we've had that on good authority. I've spoken to people. Well, I spoke to Resplendent Salon. Some of you will know that chain of hotels, and Malik's wife is the chairman of the tourist board. So I think that's quite a good source. The Seychelles is open, but has this 5-day PCR test requirement, which is a disincentive to people. And as we've spoken to agents about booking the Seychelles, it's open for those prepared to take that risk, but it is still there. And the Maldives is fully open, and we updated this chart just before we started because island hopping is now allowed. So if you've got someone who wants to do 2-center, but the hotel does have to get permission, so it is with some restrictions. So Maldives is just about back to normal. The PCR test is 96 hours as well, which is very realistic and gives people plenty of time to get that test before traveling. Talking about traveling, flight options, I've really just put this on to draw 2 things out. The British Airways flights are changing in terms of the frequency by the month. That is the schedule for January through to April, departing with return flights on the following days in British Airways' case. So the Wednesday returns on the Thursday. Sri Lankan are flying direct twice a week, which I think hopefully most people are aware of now, with a return flight on the same day because they're using different planes with their schedule. And obviously the Middle Eastern airlines now are all flying on a daily basis. But what we have found, particularly from regional airports, is some of those flights are not connecting as well as they used to. And we have to be really careful on that. Otherwise you can end up with 5- and 6-hour connections through the Middle East, which obviously can be a little bit painful. So at that point, that's all I'm going to say. I'll come back a little bit later. And at this point, I'm going to hand over to Dom, and he's going to take us through 6 Senses Laamu. Dom.
Thank you, Neil. And hi, everyone, again. I'm just going to share my screen 1 second. Okay, can you see that now?
Yep, we can see that, Dom. Well, it's just starting up. Yeah, you just need to maximize it.
Just going to go to the slide save. Okay, I think you can see now. Yeah, perfect. So thanks again to Neil and Fazana, and thanks for setting this up. Good to see everyone this morning. Thanks for joining us. Hope you've been well as you can be this year. Happy 34th anniversary to Neil and Fazana as well. Just like to say that before we get. And I'm really glad they chose Lisa and Nick as their 3 favourite hotels to represent in the Maldives. And of course, we all have these kind of lovely barefoot luxury resorts. So the first thing I could tell you about Laamu is really how to get there. And it's actually a domestic flight. So rather than a seaplane, you've 40 minutes from Male, and you actually arrive on a runway for Laamu Atoll, and then you take a 15-minute boat transfer. So some people say they prefer the seaplane, and the James Bond in me actually likes to land on water, and I've done it before. It's really good fun. But in this case, you land on a runway, and these planes that are domestic flights, ever so slightly big, they will give you like a bit more space, and it's a little bit cooler as well. And also, they can fly at night time. So if you've got one of those Middle Eastern connections that takes you back at night, there is a kind of shorter, better transfer. So there is. I think I missed the first slide actually. Sorry, there's a slide coming up the front there. That's myself there with my colleague Flora. We're the UK sales team for 6 Senses, by the way. I'm sure you've in the past. So when we say barefoot luxury, we mean it. I mean, on the boat transfer, which takes 15 minutes from the arrival of Laamu domestic airport, we ask the guests to take their shoes off and put them in a bag, and you don't really get them back until the end of the holiday. You just don't need to wear shoes. Last time I went to Laamu, I didn't pack any shoes. I didn't need to wear them. You go for dinner in the evening, and you just don't need to wear them, and you kind of feel more connected to the island. You've got your feet in the sand the whole time. It just makes you feel instantly more relaxed. So when we say barefoot luxury, you can see all of our team here with their feet out, and we mean it. And it does give that instant feeling of kind of Robinson Crusoe experience. But these guys here, also one of these could be one of our gems. Now, a gem is a guest experience maker. It's a bit like Six Senses take on a butler. So every single person at Laamu, every single villa is assigned a gem for your entire stay. Now, we're quite a relaxed luxury brand, so we think butler sounds a bit too formal. And basically, your gem will be available. There's even a button on your telephone, which can be quite useful if you just need some ice in the room, or you want to book a reservation, or you just want some advice about the weather, or even just a friendly chat. And they do become your friend by the end of the day. So these guys, one of these guys might be your gem. Also, it's worth noting that our general manager, Martine, is actually originally from Holland. She's been there for 9 years, and she's now one of the longest serving GMs in the whole of the Maldives. She's a really keen diver, so she doesn't want to go anywhere. So she's very happy as a GM there. And she runs a tight ship, but she's super nice. The team love her. Some of the best staff in the Maldives come to work in Laamu because they really get respected and treated so well. And they love working for Martine as general manager as well. So it's really worth noting, because when you get a good GM that's been there for 9 years, you really have like a very good resort overall experience. So once you've arrived, at the moment we're taking guests to the villa to check in because of all the regulations, just to make them feel safe and secure. You'll notice that you've got your bikes as well, so you can ride your bicycle around Laamu. It's about half an hour to walk around the island. People know how long it takes. How big is it? It's fairly big. It takes half an hour to walk around it. And you've got these bikes you can cycle from your villa to the restaurant, or to the beach, or across the island, or just for a bit of fun. And they've got your initials on the back there. You can see my initials, DS, there for Dominic Smith. But yeah, these are quite fun. They've got little pads on the pedals, so you can stay barefoot and you don't have to put your foot on the metal pedal, which is quite a nice touch. So what about the villas? And you can see from this shot here, this is an overwater villa, but you can see the design, and we're very like a Robinson Crusoe design. You know, you've got lots of driftwood and that, with a kind of crow's nest on top of all the villas where you can look at the stars in the evening. And they really like a rustic luxury, like as Neil said at the beginning, it's an understated luxury. So they've got loads of space, you've got your butler service, you've got a really luxurious feel, but it's all about the natural environment and fitting in with the environment in the Maldives. Just a little tip on the type of villa inventory we have. We've actually got 97 villas, so still quite small. All the villas can take 2 adults and 2 children if they want to share the room, which keeps us down for some families that have young kids. We've got 26 that have a private pool, so it would be an upgrade if they want to go for their own private pool. Obviously, you've got the Indian Ocean right there, down the steps from the villa, so everyone has like a big swimming pool in the Indian Ocean. And we've got 2 2-bedroom villas, so we haven't actually got that many big villas like some other resorts, but we've only got 2 of the villas, which accommodate up to 6 guests. Friends traveling together or bigger families can take one of the 2-bedroom villas. This is just to impress you with our top villa. It's called the Ocean Beach Villa with pool, and that is our 2-bedroom largest villa, with its, as you can see, like its own private bit of beach and 2 bedrooms either side. Here's a little look at the close up of the pool at the 2-bedroom villa as well, and another look at the kind of the lovely terrace on the upstairs part where you can just hang out and play some games, and you've got jungle all around you and the fruit hang around, and you can even take a breakfast here. So that's really fantastic for your top clients. Now, what about things to do? We've got a lovely experience which be available to the guests, which is the sunset dolphin spotting cruise. We do get lots of bottleneck dolphins and spinner dolphins in the atoll. We're the only resort on the atoll, so they really not too scared to come quite close. They come in and out the atoll for feeding, in fact, and we take a boat ride around sunset time, of course, for about an hour. We serve the guests some lovely chilled sparkling wine and canapes. They sit and watch the sunset and hopefully see some dolphins. And most days they do see a pod of dolphins flipping out. And the spinner dolphins, of course, you've seen them on TV. They pop out the water and do a spin and then land back in the water. So that's a really exciting thing to do, that's one-off during your holiday. Usually after the sunset cruise, you may choose to go for dinner. We've got some amazing restaurants there. One in the photo is called Leaf, and that place is side by side with the organic garden. And since we try and make everything sustainable and locally produced, so we actually get a lot of the herbs, vegetables, and fruits from our own garden, and they're served in Leaf in a kind of, you know, a relaxed dining kind of setting, you could say. So it's right on the beach, and it's one of our specialities. A lot of the ingredients are coming from next door in our own garden, so it's very healthy, very organic, obviously. We've got some other amazing restaurants, of course, like Zen is a really intimate Japanese setting, which is great for all the fresh fish there. Longitude is like overwater, one for lunch, and a chill bar with a deep kind of thing. So all these are available on the half board. Now, half board is available on the contract to buy, but we often do a promotion. You can get a free half board, and most guests will be on a half board because, of course, then you have your lunch and dinner covered. So all those restaurants are available on the half board. Now, after dinner, what do you do? Well, maybe you go to the ice cream parlor. We've actually got in Six Senses complimentary ice cream parlor. And you can just see a little shot on the right-hand side of the parlor. It's a very nice ice cream parlor. You've got a choice of 20 sorbets and 20 ice cream made on the ice, and absolutely delicious. And you can work your way through all 40 flavors, I think, in at least a day. So really tasty. After the ice cream, head over to our cinema. We've got an open air cinema under the stars. Obviously, it's weather permitting. We call it our Cinema Paradiso, and we advertise what film will be shown that evening. So it's something to do, and we serve complimentary popcorn as well to the guests. Now, the other thing people ask you about is, does it have a house reef? And the answer in Laamu is most definitely yes. We have an amazing house reef. Like I mentioned before, we are the only resort on the Laamu Atoll, which means we're quite remote, but we have a very pristine environment around us. And that you can see on the picture there where the water changes colour from light to dark, that is the house reef. And you can actually jump off from the chill bar and take your snorkel, and the house reef is fantastic. You can swim along it yourself. It's really close to the resort, so you don't feel too, but there is some of the team that can take a tour and take you to some of the outcrops as well, where they know there's some really good corals. Obviously, the scuba diving is fantastic there, and our GM is a really keen diver, and she will take you, if you've got clients who are really big on diving, she will actually go with them and take them to the best spot in the whole atoll nearby. Now, when it comes to sustainability, it's one of our core principles at Six Senses. We were founded on sustainability and wellness. Here's a picture of me hanging out with our sustainability manager called Megan, who's from California. And when we say sustainability, we have these 6 guiding principles for sustainability. It's, as you can see on the list there, it's the way we build things from sustainable materials and all the 6 senses. We give back to the community. We do things like training the local people to kind of get involved in the hotel industry and educate them and give them computers, that kind of thing. The environment, we're actually protecting things like the seagrass, which the turtles live on. We're actually actively encouraging other resorts in the Maldives to look after the seagrass and educate them to look after the environment in the Maldives. Plastic free, we already nearly plastic free. We bottle our own water. We have a water distillery in all 6 senses where we can actually filter, desalinate, filter, chill, and sparkle the water and serve to guests. We never import Evian or any other water. We don't have any plastic bottles for about 15 years. Funding means we actually collect a small percentage of the guest stay, and it goes back into our sustainability fund to fund things like the community projects. And inside the hotel means things like the way we manage the waste and the way we collect ingredients from the farm to be a self-sufficient model as well as possible. And the Earth Lab is basically a sustainability showcase. Guests can go into the Earth Lab and have a look around and meet the team and find out what we do. It's very open and very, very clear to everyone. And the other thing about Six Senses is that we're very keen on wellness. Now, this is actually a list of some of the things we do for the children, because we do have a kids club, and like we treat children in the same way. We want to get that wellness when they come. We don't just stick them in the room with a PlayStation. So all of the kids' activities that we do involve our 6 pillars of wellness, which you can see on the screen there. So things like cooking classes, snorkel trips, even meditation. These are all like things that can teach them about the world of wellness and really something. And when it comes to offers, of course, we've got some great offers. I mean, everyone's shopping for an offer right now. We have got offers for the high season. We've got offers for December if they're going to go last minute. But the best offer is currently, if you go in the low season next year, which can be sunny. I've been in July and it was blue sky the whole time. We've actually got like an EBO. We've got a 30% off you can combine. You can get half board. So the best offer would be to go kind of low season next year, and you get all that discount on a free half board. We have got a 14-day cancellation policy at the moment for Laamu because of the COVID situation, which is better than normal. And that's the minimum we can do because of the domestic flight transfer. So we really cut it down as far as possible. Other Six Senses have gone for a 5-day cancellation policy because they are able to go even lower and really give the guests the flexibility, and also you guys too. And by the way, we've got a Saints and Sinners drinks package, which is essentially, if people would like the idea of all-inclusive, well, we don't have all-inclusive, but you can add a drinks package bolt-on to your full board, and then you're essentially all-inclusive. So that's all from Laamu and me. I wish I was in this hammock now, but I'm actually in rainy Brighton. But anyway,
Dom, that's brilliant. Thanks, Dom. I appreciate that. I'm not sure about that dodgy picture at the end in the hammock. It reminds me of one that Fazana put on Facebook of me in a hammock, which was not very becoming. One quick question, then we'll move on. You talked about, you mentioned very briefly about COVID arrangements when somebody arrives, about villa check-in or not check-in. I can't remember exactly what you said. Are people wearing masks? What's the situation? Does staff wear masks? Are guests expected to wear masks? How's that being approached?
Yeah, it's a good question that many people are asking at the moment. So the hosts, as we call them, which are our staff, we call them hosts, they would be wearing a mask, a bit like when you go somewhere in the UK at the moment, just to keep people safe and everything. But as guests, they wear masks. And most of Laamu is in the open air. It's undercover, but it's open air. So the guests don't have to wear a mask, except for the dive shop and the boutique, which are like a little small inside room. Otherwise, there's no mask.
And what about things like diving? Is that operating as normal with just higher levels of disinfection?
Yeah, all the equipment will obviously be cleaned in between the dives, and there's no change to diving.
Okay, excellent. All right, we'll come back at the end, but just to keep moving, I'm going to move across to Nicola. Nicola, if you could unmute and please share your screen. Over to you.
Morning, everybody. Really nice to see everybody today. Actually, what you said about the Maldives, Neil, and Coco Island and heels, I remember those people that know me well will know I love my shoes. And the first time I ever went to Coco Island, I took a big bag of shoes, all heels. So I think every subsequent visit, I've now learnt my lesson. It's a pair of flip-flops, if that. So I'm going to talk to you this morning about Coco Island and Maalifushi. I'm going to show you a video of Coco Island, firstly. And it's a site inspection that our sales manager, Josephine, has put together. So I'm going to share that with you now. It's a little bit jumpy at the beginning. It's a little bit windy on the jetty, but bear with it. It'll only last a couple of seconds and it'll go back into a proper video. So now, if I can, sorry. Okay. Oops. Sorry. Oops. See that?
Our Coco Island, and we're starting here at the jetty, actually, where the guests starting their arrival experience, our beautiful resort. So come along, I'm going to show you what's hiding inside. The first scene guests will see when they enter the island is our reception area. So here is where they are getting welcomed by all our team and getting a fresh coconut to start off with. In 2019, Coco Island underwent a complete refurbishment. And some of the highlights of what we have done is that we have updated the interior in all the rooms. We have added pools to a few of our villas. And we have also updated all the public areas and other facilities around the island. So what we are showing you now is our stunning Doni Loft Water Villa. So you can see after the refurbishment, the interior design is much more contemporary. It's white, much more brighter, so the room feels much more spacious. And one of the significant things we have done with all the rooms is that we have extended the deck, as you can see here, also as a roofing. So the rooms can be utilized much longer now during the evening, and it gives you a huge space to enjoy your villa and just jump into the beautiful ocean. finally, I'm standing here with our latest and most exciting news. So when Kokoa underwent the refurbishment last year, we added a new villa into our inventory. So this is the first time you will actually see this villa. Our beautiful Kokoa water villa, which is a premium one-bedroom villa, to which you will have a private butler. It is completely exclusive with a big living area and also your own gym. As I mentioned in the beginning, this is a one-bedroom premium villa, but we will of course be more than happy to accommodate families in this very spacious villa as well. We can place up to 2 extra beds in our loft that I'm going to show you a little bit later. And what you can see here is our beautiful master. Here we have our beautiful loft where you have a stunning view out of the ocean. So here, as I said, you can accommodate extra beds, and this can also just have a nice relaxing area. Of the house. Behind me here we have Faru Bar, and we also have a buffet restaurant. We have, what you can see here is our outdoor area where the guests are seated for breakfast, lunch and also for dinner. So the beauty of Kokoa Island is it's small, the quality of food is amazing, and we have different theme nights to be able to accommodate different themes every day. At Faru Bar, you can enjoy drinks and food throughout the whole day. But my personal favorite thing to do is actually to go here, order a nice sunset cocktail and just head out to the beach, because here is actually the best sunset spot on the whole island. After the refurbishment of Kokoa Island, our Shambhala area is now covering a third of the island, with an extension of a new Pilates studio, hydrotherapy pool, an open-air 360-degree yoga pavilion, and a complete new gym for guests to use. We're offering 2 complimentary yoga or Pilates sessions every day. In addition to this, guests can book their own private sessions in order to have it more tailor-made and customized for their needs. One of the unique selling points for Kokoa Island is our amazing sandbank, which is stretching 1.2 kilometers out in the Indian Ocean. One of my personal favorite things to do is actually to just take a long walk here. You will see the resort, it just gets tiny in the background, while you can feel the waves from the Indian Ocean just crossing your feet. At our Marine Sports Center, guests can experience activities such as snorkeling with sharks, diving, beautiful sunset cruises while dolphins are jumping around you, and much, much more. So now we have entered our beautiful Como Princess. So it's our luxury yacht to which we can pick up guests from the airport. We can go on beautiful sunset cruises, we can go on day trips, and we can even transfer guests from Coco Island over to Maalifushi in this beautiful yacht. So we're now going to take you around a little bit and see how it looks inside. Taking time to join us on this virtual tour of Coco Island. We really hope to see you in person and of course to be able to welcome your guests to our beautiful paradise soon. In the meantime, take care and we'll see you soon.
So hope you enjoyed that. I thought it was a nice way of showing you Coco Island and letting Josephine take you around the resort. As she mentioned,
before you quickly move on, can I just ask one question? I'm going to ask you, put you on the spot.
Yeah.
What differentiates Coco from Maalifushi you're going to show us, and why should someone go to that resort? What's the one thing that's special about what you just shown us?
So Coco Island is like a little desert island. It isn't a resort at all. You can walk around the island in 10 minutes. It's brilliant for couples, whereas Maalifushi is more of a resort. It's more restaurant choices. It's a larger island. It's a good all-round resort, Maalifushi. Coco Island is very, very much for couples. Very, very quiet, very intimate, very small.
Okay, and the catamaran that you've got there, have they replaced it after I turned it over and they had to tow it in with a speedboat?
Did we not send you the bill for that, Neil?
No, I'm still waiting for it. Okay, moving on, I'll leave you to it.
All right, thank you. So I'm going to quickly now show you Maalifushi. Sorry, I'm just going to share my screen again. Hopefully you can see that. Oops. Can you see that?
I can't see it yet, Nick.
Sorry, something's happened here. My internet's going a bit strange. Sorry.
Okay, well, do you want me to share it?
Yeah, if you.
Okay, that does not look very helpful. Can everyone hang on a second? Have we lost Nicola? We've lost Nicola. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. All right, I'm not quite sure what's happened. Then will you just bear with me for a second? I'll just see if I can find, I'll get Nicola's presentation and then hopefully she'll rejoin us.
No problem, Neil.
I can Lisa's cut her off because she wants to go next.
We're looking at Coco Island. I've cut her off.
I'm back. I think I'm back.
Okay, I've got your charts about to go on the screen. If you want, if I can, shall I do that?
Go for it, Neil.
Okay, is this the first? Okay, I'm just going to go skip through all of those. Give me 1 second, and then we'll go start in a second. Okay, I just need to share my screen.
Oh, Nicola, those pictures of Coco Island brought back memories of our fam trip.
Yeah,
I know, it was great, wasn't it?
Sitting in that aqua pool.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
okay, is that
Oh.
you see my screen now?
Yeah, you're going through, keep going. Sorry, everybody.
Okay. Right, okay, so moving on, quick, so I'll move the slides, so go on.
Yeah,
go ahead.
so Maalifushi, as I said, it's a great all-round resort. Go on your own, go with your friends, go with your family. It really does sort of suit anybody. It's 60 minutes by seaplane from Mali. Coco Island was actually just a short speedboat journey of 40 minutes, whereas Maalifushi is actually a seaplane journey. We're actually situated in the Tha Atoll, and we're the only hotel in the atoll. There's one other local island and us. There's a mixture of overwater and beach villas. As you can see, they're literally half and half. And there really is a really great range of accommodation. You have 2 bedrooms, you have even a 4-bedroom villa, you have 1 bedrooms. The beach suites and beach villas would be, a beach suite would be a separate lounge, sorry, a whole sort of integrated bedroom and lounge, whereas a villa would be a separate bedroom and separate lounge area. And we also have 2-bedroom versions of those as well. Then we have our overwater villas, which is the same principle. And every single room at Maalifushi has its own private pool, and it's a full-size pool. The premium villas would be the 2-bedroom Maalifushi beach villa, which is obviously right on the beach. So the Maalifushi water villa again has 2 bedrooms. So does the Como villa, and then, as I mentioned earlier, is the 4-bedroom Como residence, which is located on the beach. I know there's not a huge amount of larger villas in the Maldives, but we have, as I said, the 4-bedroom residence, which is actually our owner's daughter's own villa, which she uses whenever she comes with her family to Maalifushi. Obviously, as you can imagine, snorkeling and diving is fantastic. As I mentioned, we're the only hotel resort in that atoll. So there's over 28 different dive sites. There is a house reef, of course, and also during the months of usually from sort of November through to March, you can actually go diving with whale sharks, or sorry, snorkeling with whale sharks, which usually is in the evenings. You take a little phone, they let you know when the whale sharks have been sighted, and you've got about 10 minutes to get down to the jetty and go off and snorkel with them. And everybody who's done this has told me it's absolutely amazing. We also do fishing down there. We can do fly fishing, like tackle fishing. There's lots and lots of activities over at Maalifushi for everybody. Surfing as well. The surf season is usually May to October. And again, we work with Tropic Surf down there, who operate our surfing program. And that's anything from beginners right through to advanced level. Next slide, Neil. Sound like Chris Whitty. So do you want to go through that? Pass that one, Neil. Thank you. We have a fabulous little private island, which is about 5 minutes by boat just off Maalifushi, called Lavadu. And there's nothing on there. It's just a completely virgin island. And we use that for sort of private beach barbecues, private beach picnics. You can take that for yourself as a couple or as a family. And we've just started doing these overnight stays on there as well. You can see it's all set up there with the bed and the candles. You can choose your movie. So you can do movies under the stars during the evening. And then, of course, sleep on the beach, and you're woken up in the morning with a lovely breakfast. 2 restaurants on the island. So Madi is sort of more Mediterranean and international style cuisine. And then we also have Thai, which is a Japanese overwater restaurant. And there's some great sunset views from this particular restaurant. And you can also we also do food in the bar, which would be sort of things like pizzas and sort of snacks as well. So you've got 3 dining options, as it were. Como Shambhala, we're well known for our spa, of course, and we have a fabulous Como Shambhala retreat on the island, complete with yoga studio, and we do yoga classes there as well, like we do over at Coco. Play by Como is our children's club. Again, a bit like Six Senses, really, in the sense that it's very experiential. It's not about having kids sitting behind an iPad or whatever. It's teaching them about Maldives, teaching them about and giving them a real sense of place, really, about the environment, teaching about the fish and the marine life. So that's from the ages of 4 through to 12. And that's it. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much for that quick run through. Let's ask the same question, Nicola. What differentiates this property? I mean, for me, I think you get quite a few celebrities at this property. I think you get quite a few high-profile people, but it's probably a property people have heard less about. What makes it special for people?
Again, it's a newer island. Coco Island is one of the sort of originals, if you like, in the 5-star luxury segment, whereas Maalifushi we opened about 6 years ago. As I said earlier, it's more of a resort. It's got more sort of restaurant choices. It's got more sort of accommodation choices. But I think what makes it special for me is having that little island, Lavadu. I absolutely love that, to be able to just get away from the whole island and have a proper sort of unique, natural, Maldivian experience away from the resorts, I think is really quite special.
And sustainability, I mean, we talk about sustainability.
Yeah.
Anything you draw out from either of the properties about that?
Yeah, at both islands, we actually have a coral propagation project where we actually, with guests can actually go and plant new coral frames.
Okay.
So we're very much involved with that at both of the islands.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you very much, Nicola. We'll come back at the end. We're going to move swiftly on to Lisa, who's sitting, unfortunately, not in the Maldives, but in North Yorkshire. And anyone who knows where Lisa lives in North Yorkshire, it's pretty damn remote on the moors. So I gather it's a bit colder with you today than it is in the Maldives.
Scarf on, yes.
Scarf on, so.
Jill will certainly relate to where I live, that's for sure.
Oh,
hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Neil.
Okay, over to you, Lisa.
I'm going to just share my screen to talk to you about Gili Lankanfushi. Can you all see that? So I've been
that's fine. Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to work with Gili for about 3 years now, but I've been involved with the Maldives for many years. Some of you may also know me because I represent Uga Escapes in Sri Lanka. So I work really closely with Neil and Fasana on their Sri Lanka program. And I also have worked for the last 16 years with Matorco, who are a great DMC in Mauritius. Again, work with Neil and Anna to help develop their newish program to Mauritius. Obviously, with both those destinations, we're waiting patiently for an announcement. And in the meantime, I can totally agree with Neil that the swamp of inquiries for the Maldives in the last 2 weeks has been at times quite overwhelming, but also really reassuring that there are clients out there who still have money and still want to come to these fabulous islands. So Gili, one of the really original Robinson Crusoe, feet in the sand, barefoot luxury properties. It first opened as Seneva Gili, sister property to Seneva Fushi. But I would say about 10 years ago, it was purchased by the same company based in Singapore that owns Six Senses Laamu and also is a cousin to Como. So it's another reason, apart from the fact that Nicola, Dom and I love working together, we are also joined as a little happy extended family. So we tend to do quite a lot together, and you'll see that there are some similarities, particularly between Gili and Laamu. So the way we call our hosts, the whole Robinson Crusoe sustainability and very rustic luxury. In terms of location, Gili is actually one of the most convenient properties you could send clients to. It's only 20 minutes by speedboat from Male. and yet you then come to this beautifully private environment. The total upside is the convenience. You know, there are those clients who do not want to get on a seaplane or a domestic flight. And so to be met by the speedboat at Mali Airport and literally within 20 minutes be at your resort is a massive bonus. It also means you can arrive at night, which is good for winning in the future with Lanka. You know, Gili makes a really great, easy end of stay after a Sri Lanka trip. And also if you're departing at night, you can literally stay at Gili till after you've had dinner, and then the speedboat will take you at about 8 o'clock at night back to the airport. Whereas if you're a little bit further away, yes, you've got a much more remote, quiet environment, but you do have to factor in some of the logistics. So this is Gili. I always find this map really handy, and if any of you ever want it, you know, let me know, because it can get quite boggling with different room categories. But Gili is basically all over water bungalows. So hands up if you've got someone who wants a villa on the beach. I would have to step away and hand over to my colleagues. But some of the most spectacular overwater bungalows located on 3 jetties. And then the main island has the main swimming pool and the restaurants and the spa. You can even see in the right-hand side of this map, we have 7 what we call Crusoe residences, which are not connected in any way. You reach them by boat. You can see the really fabulous house reef up the top half of the image. It's smaller than say Laamu's house reef. It's quite a small house reef, but every time I speak to marine biologists at Gili, they say it's amazing for a small reef, the quantity and variety of sea life that you see, so you still get a really good experience. And really, Gili's a sanctuary hidden from the world. Once you're there, you're in a very special, very unique environment. You can see this is one of our jetties with the villas coming out, and right at the end of that jetty is our family villa. And if you book the family villa, you have the use of that little tiny sandbank island all to yourself. So the lead-in room at Gili is huge, but we also probably, what perhaps differentiates us a little bit from Laamu perhaps, is that we have some slightly bigger villas and quite a variety of them, from the lagoon villa to the new villa suites with pools. So up until last year we had no villas with pools, but we do now have those. The interiors are very rustic. Everything's been upcycled, and actually we were renovated all through 2019. Some of you will know that we actually experienced a really bad fire Christmas last year. So we closed all last year. We renovated the whole resort. So if any of you have had clients who've been to Gili maybe 5 years ago, this is now quite different, still very much in the spirit of the Robinson Crusoe, very rustic experience, but the rooms have been freshened up. I mean, gosh, I just have to look at this picture all day and I feel cheered up. The lead-in room is really enormous. So you have a open air living area, bedroom, bathroom, and the upstairs viewing deck, which can also be turned into a bedroom, the sofa bed, so you can sleep under the stars if you want to. So really nice, light, bright, but rustic environment. These are the Crusoe residences. You actually reach these by your own little boat. So they're quite fun for families who have older children who perhaps are used to going on holidays to Cornwall and Devon. You actually can use this little outboard to get to and from. The only restriction is, we say, after 6 o'clock at night, when we know you're going to be tempted by the bar, our Fridays, our hosts will drive you in and out on the jetty boat. But lots of beautiful villa living, lots of space. And this is our private reserve with the famous swimming pool, sleeps 14. It is, I will say, still available for New Year, I do believe. Most of our other villas are full, and we've got a couple of options out on it. But if anyone's got one of those mega bookings, we're ready and waiting. Most people come and stay with us on half board. We have 2 restaurants and then lots of other options on the beach. Jungle cinema, very similar to Laamu's. There are little touches that you'll see similar between those 2 resorts. A wonderful spa. Spa is very, very important to us and a big part of what we do at Gili. The snorkeling, whale watching, sailing on traditional dhonis, all these little experiences that we can build in to what we do at Gili. The surfing is actually very good. We use the surf break that's very close to Four Seasons, Kudahura, which is quite close to Gili. We're also one of the only resorts in the Maldives that does have a swimming pool, and we always have a professional coach if anyone wants lessons. At Laamu, they call them gems. We have Fridays, Mr. and Mrs. Fridays. And again, they're there to be your friend, your personal assistant. We don't like the term butler. And things like, we don't have a children's club, but I'm always amazed by how many children we have coming to Gili. And the Fridays are always the ones that put together the things to do for them. And, you know, lots of our guests communicate regularly throughout the year with their Fridays. You know, the Fridays are always on WhatsApp, talking to guests. COVID measures, I won't go through them, but go to, hi Fazana, you've come in and out of the ocean. Do go to Gili's website if you've got clients who are in any way concerned and they want to understand what the property are doing. Dom talked about masks. Here, I just thought I'd put this on so you can see our general manager down in the right-hand corner. All our hosts are wearing masks, adhering to social protocol. And I think it is really important that guests feel quite reassured. Special offers, we have ranging from 20%, 25%, children free. Most of the time we have a complimentary half board offer. I would say for anything last minute, please do talk to us through Neil and Fazana, and you know, there is at this lot of flexibility for your clients. So I would say let's quote ad hoc. Finally, we just wanted to say a little hello from Gili, but thank you for all the support. And
hello everyone, my name is Rodrigo Bonafina. I'm the food and beverage manager here at Gili Lankanfushi. We just wanted to send you a quick message here from the Maldives. As you can see behind me, sun is shining, the water is as crystal clear as ever, super blue. We hope that you're safe at home and that you're keeping well. We're working on a series of new experiences here while we wait for everyone to come back. In the meantime, hope you're well, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Wish you were here.
Oh, don't want him back in. So that's Gili, and thanks for joining in.
Lisa, thank you very much indeed. That's great. Well, welcome Fazana. She's joined me from the other room. I mean, that if we're looking at Gili, I mean, it strikes me that, you know, kind of some of those residences are just huge. But what is the one thing, Lisa, that you'd take away from Gili? What would you say differentiates you from, say, from Laamu? I mean, same owner. You've contrasted, but why would we book one rather than the other?
Oh, that's a difficult one because Laamu is one of my favourite cousins. So, I mean, we are priced a little bit more expensive than Laamu, it's fair to say. You know, Gili is a more expensive product, so I would say the finish and the subtle, you know, it's not a glitzy, glamorous resort, but there is still just a slightly higher end finish to what they offer.
Yeah, no, I think, you know,
I think
not every
some of
room
the
that comes with its own
2-bedroom
boat.
villas. Sorry, Neil.
It's not every room that comes with its own boat, for example.
No, that's true. And I think since the renovation, we now have some beautiful family villas with pool, which are really stunning. And, you know, when you reopen a property and you've upped the game, you worry whether your clients are going to pay the extra that those rooms require. But actually the demand for those family villas with pools has been absolutely incredible over the last weeks. So for me, it's the bigger room categories that it offers now. And the space, that the leading room, the villa suite, so the lowest entry room at Gili is enormous. So if space is important to people, which it obviously is at the moment, and we still have guests who just want to come to Gili and they don't really want to leave their villa. They want to have room service. They want it's a proper villa living rather than a hotel room.
Yeah, and I love your expression upcycled. It's not one I'm using, but I'm going to be using it the whole time now. I'm no longer recycling or refurbishing, I'm upcycling. So I think that's a very cool one.
And I suppose it's only 20 minutes from the airport, which is a huge advantage when you're combining it with somewhere like Sri Lanka.
Yeah, you could swim, Fasana.
I think that's great. It's interesting actually, because two of the properties we've featured today are all over water. We didn't drew that out with Coco because all of the donis, and I think that's an interesting change you've made, Nicola, as well, because previously you used to call them doni villas, or don, I can't remember the expression, but you're now calling them over water. And I think there is a lot of demand because you've actually introduced, I think, the word water villa into it, haven't you, into the title?
Yeah, we did that because interestingly, whilst we knew everything was over water, not everybody else did. So I think it was just to really reinforce the fact that everything at Coco Island is also over water.
Yeah, no, it's excellent. So that's really good. Dom, the other thing is, Dom, I didn't ask you that question of, you know, what's the one thing that you'd pull out with Says Go to Laamu? I must give you the opportunity to do that.
People really like the kind of whole Robinson Crusoe vibe. I think they know it's a relaxed luxury brand and they really want to kind of have that barefoot luxury. So that's the thing that people say about Laamu, and they always say it's got a certain magic about it. And I don't know what it is. You go there and you just feel like everything is just perfect. So it's difficult to put your finger on, but maybe that's the sixth sense.
Excellent.
I actually want to sit in one of those overwater glass baths.
Yeah, that's a good point. We have these beautiful, fully kind of, they're like a sort of perspex glass bath, and you can actually see right down into the sea while you're lazing there in a bath. So yeah, they're fantastic.
Brilliant. Well, I'm gonna pull things, unless anyone out in the audience has got a question. Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question now. And we won't be offended if anyone else has to drop out, because I know there's a few people have already had to go. Would anyone like to ask any questions of Nicola, Lisa, or Dom?
I would just like to ask regarding, nobody mentioned anything about insects or mosquitoes.
Yeah, no, the Maldivian government banned them, Kent.
Well, especially overnight sleeping.
Yeah, we also had the question in relation to Zika and the Maldives a few years ago. Anyone like to pick up on and comment on that?
I mean, I can comment on Maalifushi. I mean, Maalifushi is actually quite a tropical island, but I know that we do this kind of fogging of all the vegetation and whatever, and to ensure that there isn't, you know, a problem. I mean, you can always get bitten at some point, but it's not an issue. I don't think I've ever been bitten at all when I've been to Maalifushi, and I can honestly say that, you know, hand on heart.
Yeah.
Lisa, you have one of the villas that has where you can sleep on the deck, don't you?
All our villas you can. They've all got upstairs viewing.
And no one complains about
sleep under the stars. Like Nicola said, we do undertake a fogging program at Gili. All the products are environmentally safe. It's not a kind of harsh chemical that's being pumped out, because that would be very much against what all our ethics are. So yes, you can get bitten. I always tell people when they come on fam trips with me, bring mosquito repellent, but I wouldn't say it's any worse than, you know, you'd expect going to a tropical climate.
We're the same at Laamu. I mean, you might see one or two, but we've also got a lotion in the room, which is an eco-friendly product in a sustainable ceramic bottle, and the guests can use that as a kind of mosquito repellent, just in case they.
True, Dom. We've got that as well. We must have copied it from you.
Yeah. Maybe. But yeah, you don't see too many, of course, and we have the fogging thing as well, so it's not a big problem.
Any other questions? Thanks for that, Ken. No? Okay, well, listen, thank you very much, everybody. A big thank you to Lisa, Nicola and Dom. And I think we've worked closely with you for years, differing lengths of time. And we really value those relationships. We value the relationships with everybody who's also on the screens today. We've known you as fellow travel agents and then as suppliers to you for the last few years. I mean, the budgets vary clearly, and I had a couple of questions during the presentation on that in terms of relative positioning. You know, these are what I would like to say within the 5-star market. I think there are 3 levels of pricing. There is the entry level 5 stars, the atmospheres, the luxes, the Lankanfushi type properties. There is the middle level, which I think we've been looking at today, and then there's the stuff that's out in the stratosphere. And obviously some of the very big villas here are very expensive, but this is not at Cheval Blanc, you know, kind of pricing level. So whatever level your clients are looking for, whether it's what we've been looking at today, whether it's in the 4-star or the 5-star market, obviously we've got the relationships there. We've got the contracts in place, and we're very happy to look after your clients at all those different levels. We within the office have visited more than 30 properties in the Maldives. We were due to visit another 5 or 6 earlier this year, and had the tickets booked for when we went out to Sri Lanka in March and came back 5 days later. But we will be back in the Maldives as soon as we can when we get back out to Sri Lanka and we start going to see some of the properties that we've talked about. And, you know, Lisa, thanks for the introduction before when you mentioned twinning with Sri Lanka. It's a perfect way also of bringing the overall cost down. 14 nights in the Maldives turned into 7 nights in the Maldives and 7 to 10 nights in Sri Lanka is a more affordable combination. But it also allows you to then bring in culture, World Heritage sites, tea estate, wildlife, you know, whether it be a safari or whether it just be seeing elephants. And then just the short 1-hour hop across to Sri Lanka, to the Maldives for the beach day. So, you know, thank you very much indeed, everybody, for joining us today. It's a great turnout. I think we peaked at over 40, which is fantastic. And we really appreciate the support. We look forward to working with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, Neil. Bye, Susanna. Bye, everyone.
Catch you later.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.